I think what we'll do now, I'm gonna work on this flower here. And so the center is dark, as you can see. This is a vintage DMC. This red now, and we're gonna go right here. And this is, again, DMC 814 is the color. And I'm also gonna do three strands to start because we're gonna do French knots right in the middle here. And French knots have a whole art of their own compared to like this stitch I just did, a leaf stitch. Okay, so again, we're right in the center, and as you can see on that picture on your screen, it is darker, so I'm doing a different floss color now than what I'll be doing on the outside of the flower, and a different stitch. So we're doing a French knot right now. And I'm just taking my thread up and I'm twisting around my needle one time. That's all I need to do for this particular section. A lot of people do not like French knots. I personally have grown to love them over time. At first, I did not like them. It's tricky at first when you're first starting. But once you get the hang of them, they're a nice stitch to use to like fill in gaps and spaces. Try and get one in the center here. I can show you a technique too. So it's hard to fill in every white space when you're just doing French knots sometimes. So it's totally fine to like see what I do here. I'm just gonna add in a little back stitch next to it. Little like pieces of thread will come up from the back of your hoop, and it's the most annoying thing ever if you do embroidery. That and just knots. If you know, you know. Okay, so yeah, 4 strands. There's no color. The one thing I don't like about UMC Stag, there you don't have like floss colors like DMC does. They're all just marked the same. But again, that's kind of another reason I don't use them in kits, just for personal use. So we'll start. So Lazy Daisy stitch, I don't know, I have a love-hate relationship with these. You have to let me know what you think, but once you get going with them, I like them, I do, but sometimes they can be frustrating for me. Okay, so I came up the fabric and then I'm gonna go down pretty much right next to it, or the same pole that I went up. And the key here is you're not gonna go all the way down. A lot of times I grab it like this so that it doesn't go too far. And then you're gonna come up at the tip of that mark you have of your petal. You're gonna bring it up and then pull it all the way through tight. So now I didn't do this as crisp as I should have. I probably should have brought my needle up a little bit closer so there's not so much of a gap, but that's okay. You can always, like I said, you can always fill in where you need to. And then you're gonna come down at the other side of that petal. So it's that straight stitch there is grabbing the end of that loop you made. And then you're just gonna go all the way around, repeat, rinse and repeat. So then I'm just gonna attempt, not sure how it's gonna turn out, but I'm gonna do another row. And I'm using 4 strands here. So we're gonna complete the flower with another row of Lazy Daisy. So then I just kind of eyeball any areas I want to fix up. For the most part, I'm pretty happy with it. I think I'm gonna do a little straight stitches up here. Yeah, I kind of like that there's some white coming through the petals. Maybe later on, you can always like add in other shades of red into the petals too, to give your flower more dimension and depth. A lot of like my finishing touches I do once I am pretty much done with my bouquet, and then I'll like do a final look and of course have like a million other spots that I want to add the small details to, which is the fun part, you know. You kind of make it your own. That, well, the whole thing's my own, but you really do make it your own as an artist when you pay attention to that stuff. Okay, so then like, yeah, right here I'm gonna add a little stitch in there. Right here. So the worst part about embroidery is when you pull up thread pieces from the back, and that's, if you can see it, you probably can't. But yeah, you can cover stuff like that up so easily versus trying to get rid of it. So I'm just gonna